Call to order the City of Keystone Heights Budget and Finance Committee meeting, Friday, June 25th at 11 a.m. Ms. Rakowski, would you like to call roll?
Mayor Lake,
Here.
Councilman Tony Brown.
Here.
Everybody from the Finance Committee is here, ma'am.
Any public comment cards?
I have none.
And then we'll go to item 1, fiscal year ending 2021, year-to-date financials. You want to take over, Ms. Rakowski?
Yes, and if we can do 1 and 2 together as we go through our year-to-dates, and then we can also talk about the amendments as they're on the same sheet.
Okay.
All right, so the first. Sign checks. The first budget that you should have in front of you is our infrastructure budget. There's going to be no changes for budgetary purposes, no amendments to our budget this year. But I did want to just point out a couple of things. Our revenue looks to be low, but we're about right on point for that, so we're okay. But if you go down, we do have the theme park. We've got an extra $2,000 that we did not spend, that $15,000, and then our roadway resurfacing project came in under the budget at $207,000 as well. So we're in good shape for infrastructure. How that works is we've got dollars that come into our CIP that that have to be utilized for CIPs, so those funds will roll over into next year so we can utilize them with our new engineering firm. Is there any additional questions that I have? And then Mr. Hall is working on additional sidewalk lists to utilize the rest of those funds.
How much was in sidewalks? Isn't it about $5,000 every year?
58.
7,500 is what's budgeted every year.
Okay. So he's got a little money to spend left. Okay, any questions, Mr. Brown?
Sidewalks, that's just for repairs, that's not add-ons?
That's correct.
Okay.
So that will be one thing that I would hope that council would consider discussing with our new engineering firm is a sidewalk plan for reconstruction, then also new construction.
Okay. He's going to do an inventory of that, so we'll know where there are sidewalks and where there are not sidewalks that might be utilized.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions, Mr. Brown?
Nope.
Okay.
The next budget that I'd like to take a look at is our cemetery fund. Everything seems to be on point. Actually, we've brought in a lot more lot sales than anticipated. This is also a standalone account. Go ahead.
Hold on. I'm lost. Cemetery, is it on this one?
No. This is your cemetery.
Oh, maybe I'll use my bifocals next time.
Do you know what, was there something that spurred on the additional lot sales?
Other than the pandemic, no, I don't think so. We've been reactive a lot, but the reactive has caused others to be proactive.
Okay,
So as we sell one, we sell 3.
okay,
Family groups.
gotcha.
With that being said, our income, it looks to be in good shape. I do want to jump down to our capital improvements. We have budgeted $75,000 into that. Year to date, we've spent just shy of 38, or just a little above $38,000. We've got just shy of $38,000 left in that budget. We will be purchasing our wayfinding signs and getting all of that taken care of along with the delivery of the ossuarium. The ossuarium is on back order, just like everything else we have. However, we're anticipating delivery in the middle of July now.
Okay. And are we on budget to be able to pay for all of those things with the $37,000?
Yes, so our ossuarium is paid off completely. We had to pay for that up front. So the remainder of these funds will go for signage and then the mapping system and things of that nature.
Okay.
So we're in good shape with that. And then we'll have a complete cemetery.
I'd like to see somewhere that one spot, if you come off the center of the road between Bradford and Clay, then you go up, that thing has always been a sugar sand. And I don't know if we want to spend the money to pave it, or if we want to, because you get in there and these small cars, they're getting stuck.
That was something that we discussed with our prior engineering firm. As our new engineering firm comes in, I would suggest that that's going to be one of the tasks that right away. That's one of the things that the city has tried to fill.
Right.
And what our efforts are just not working for that. We need an engineering solution.
Okay. And keep that in mind. Is that something that we want to budget for next year?
We can, at your next council meeting, the council will be taking a look at that contract, and DMRP will be here. So that's one of the things that we can look at right away, and if it's an easy fix, we can probably take it out of that line.
Okay. Anything else on the cemetery?
I have nothing.
All right.
The next is the Lakes Fund. We are working with Rebecca to make this a little bit easier to read. However, I will say that year-to-date, we have we have $39,294 into our Lakes Fund. I'm asking that the lake maintenance line item be increased $4,000. We've already exceeded the budget $2,000 for additional maintenance to the beach as we were able to open it this year. But we do have a pending contract with Southern Vegetation to widen the width of what he's capable of clearing out on the lilies up to the main lake. So that $2,000 or that $4,000 would cover that as well.
Tony, do you want to make that recommendation to council?
I'll make that recommendation.
Okay.
It looks good down there. It really does.
All right, so that's one budget amendment, right?
Yes. Everything highlighted in yellow is the budget amendments.
Okay. Is that the only recommendation you're making out of the Lakes Fund?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Next is the community redevelopment.
So I don't have that one.
That's what I get for trying to talk and do it at the same time. Community redevelopment budget, we are increasing our county funding by $20,000 as we receive $60,000 from that as opposed to the expected $40,000. That's just tax revenue that has come in.
Is that because the value of property has gone up?
Yes. Our CIP carry forward was amended as well, and I apologize, these weren't highlighted in yellow. We anticipated roughly about $90,000 from last year when the actual number carry forward was $112,000. Is there any questions regarding income?
So you're proposing a $22,000 or roughly a $23,000 adjustment to the CIP carry forward due to the increase? Of the carry forward?
No, the CIP carry forward is what we had in our bank account as of September 30th of last year. So when we addressed the budget in July and August of last year, we were planning on the lights project and things like that being taken out, and we weren't able to take care of it last fiscal year. So it's just an additional carry forward. That's money we had in our checking.
Okay.
Moving down to expenses, Mr. Brandon Ludwig, and I forget the name of his company, however, he has approached the city about doing a $2,800 contract to really boost the advertising for the city with these 3 videos. Will include a video on our downtown, our parks, and our lake, and then a walking tour from the Heritage Commission. So I'm requesting that the CRA budget advertising be boosted $2,500 to accommodate that video contract.
Just one clarification question from me.
Sure.
Is it okay for us to spend this money on anything that's not related to downtown?
So with that being said, the hope of the videos and the real true reason behind the videos is to bring people to our city to visit downtown so that they will visit our businesses. And with that being within the agency, if we're, even though we're doing the walking tour, which is not within the agency, it will be stemmed of parking downtown and being able to walk that tour.
Okay. Any questions, Tony?
Will that include, the rails to trails, where he can do something with that?
Yes, that'll be part of our parks
Well,
and events.
I've noticed on Facebook the past week, he's done some stuff on his own,
Yes,
and very impressive. I mean, we've all known Brandon for quite some time and
Mhm.
seen him grow up and everything, and I'm impressed with anything he does, so it'll be done very professional, so I'm good with that.
Okay, so is it our recommendation to approve this?
I'll recommend it.
Okay.
the remainder recommendations have already been seen by council, but we're putting them in here because this will be going in front of council as an ordinance form. But we do have the $5,000 from LRDC, or that would go towards LRDC to help with our downtown businesses. The other amendment that was already approved from council was the $15,000 for the lights at the beach, and then the $500 to the Welcome Center.
I think those are all welcome additions, don't you, Mr. Brown?
Yep.
All right, I think Budget and Finance is in support of your recommendations for the CRA.
Now we are moving into general fund, which is the last budget that we'll be discussing today. On the first page, that you'll see that we have an increase of $11,000 year to date to our property taxes. And then there's a business in town that has contracted with propane, which they get taxed on, so we're receiving about $100 this fiscal year. Or we don't get taxed on, I'm sorry, we collect.
We collect it, okay. I have a question.
Yes,
And it might not have anything to do with this, but it does with gas tax.
yes.
What the heck is going on with the gas station? Is somebody looking at coming in here in the near future so we can collect more, we can collect taxes on that?
So they have had continuous conversations with city staff as far as the permitting process, and we are really at their disposal. We don't have a permit on that yet, or an application on that at the moment.
Okay. I see people up there working.
So
and
it's,
stuff.
we do not have, they're renovating the inside. Their business tax that they have not applied for, so they can renovate the building all they want to.
Right.
But the business itself needs to come in front of planning and zoning and then council, and we do not have an application. They're aware of that, but there's needs. We need a site plan and things of that nature that needs to be in front of planning and zoning for review.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, it's gonna be the same answer for the two developments that we've talked about previously in council. We've had lots of conversations. I just received one application, but it's still pending applications.
Thank you.
All right, page 2. The only adjustment there has already been taken care of. It's the income from the CRA for LRDC. Everything else with our income and then our expenses were pretty much right on target, except for some of the highlighted items, and most of them we've already discussed. So with that being said, is there any additional questions about the?
Contingency for code enforcement.
Is that training?
Can I have a line item, please?
551023. Right above total operating expenses.
So contingency for code enforcement would be continuing training.
Okay.
On page 3, you'll see several adjustments. We're asking for a $2,000 increase in advertising, as we've advertised a lot more hearings and seat vacancies this year than we anticipated. CPA services is being increased as well, as we went to a retainer versus paying hourly. And then our IT hosting is being increased as well, as because we went to a retainer with the new services offered by Mr. Clark.
And then the contingency on the code enforcement?
The contingency and code enforcement, due to COVID, things have been offered virtually as opposed to sending staff out.
You have any questions, Mr. Brown?
No,
Is it,
I recommend the changes for
These
this.
changes. The following changes on page 3 as far as part of professional services have all been already addressed through council. These are adjustments that were made earlier this year. Funds that we anticipated not spending, training services due to COVID, and then payroll services as well.
what is the ICMA match?
I'm sorry?
The ICMA 513530?
ICMA match? That's city's portion of retirement that we're not paying out.
And the contingency for city administration, what was the 1,000 for?
I apologize, I cannot hear with,
Oh, I'm sorry. The line item 513123,
yes.
what is that for?
2, 3.
3123.
Where at on this page?
Personal services,
No, it's the contingency for the city administration.
There you this would be additional training that would be sent out, or notary services or things of that nature. We have a contract with Prior, I believe is the name of it, that offers, going to classes, doing Excel classes, courses and things of that nature, but due to COVID, things were shut down and we were not traveling.
Okay. Tony, do you agree with the proposed amendment changes?
oh yeah.
Yes?
Yep.
Okay. And then you're on page 4 now?
Page 4, the only amendment was one that council's already addressed for LRDC.
I thought the total amount was for 50,000. We saw 5,000 come out of the CRA. That would be 55,000.
The 5,000 from the CRA gets put into the general fund, and the entire amount comes from general fund. So that's why you see the income of the $5,000 from the CRA.
Okay,
So you'll see the same thing that happens with cemetery, as well as that we take the employees' funding out of the cemetery, we bring it into general fund and pay our employees completely out of general fund.
so, but the complete amount is 50,000.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Brown, do you agree with the proposed budget amendment?
Yep.
Okay. And that's all for the amendments within general fund. As you can see, we're looking really good. We're bringing in, if we spend everything that we're anticipated to spend, we've got a surplus of about $3,200. Now, I left that number generally, there's a number in there, and there will be one for your next coming budget to balance that. But because it will vary so much throughout the year with, what our tax dollars are going to be versus what our actual 2-penny expenses are going to be, I just left that there.
Okay. Any questions, Mr. Brown?
Not at this time.
All right.
Now, I will share that these financials that you're seeing are year-to-date, they're not month-end, so they're going to be a little bit different than what you will see in your council packet. These are true year-to-date as opposed to the council packet will capture what they were at last month's end.
Okay.
It's kind of a sneak peek.
All right. Anything else for the good of the order?
That's all I have at the moment. I'm gonna ask, again, just if you will send me an email of times, preferably a Monday through Thursday after 4, that will be suitable for you, if there's any days, so that we can start setting workshops for our budget. And then I say after 4, that way we can make sure that the public is able to attend.
How soon do you need to schedule one? What's the time frame?
So we'll have one that will be open for everybody to come in, and their asks, their wants, their needs, their suggestions will be probably in late July, and then August Budget and Finance will look at the budget for proposals for adoption in September.
Okay. I'll get you a couple of days then. All right. Mr. Brown, anything?
You're talking like the last week of July?
Preferably not the last week, because that'll run right into August.
Okay, so your second, next July.
So if there's days, it works better if you tell me the days that you are absolutely not capable of doing it, and that way I can match it with all of council.
So Thursday nights are not good for me.
Okay. Tuesdays?
The 20th,
Mondays and Tuesdays are usually what works best, as church is on Wednesday, and we want to make sure to allow
Mondays are better for me.
Mondays. Okay. Tony? Councilman Brown?
I have a board meeting. I think it's on the 19th,
Okay.
but I'll know this weekend.
If you'll confirm,
I'll know,
then just let me know.
when it is this weekend.
Perfect. That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
All right. If there's nothing else for the good of the order,
Right.